Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Big Lee's World podcast. For those of you who don't know, my name is Lee Montgomery, most notoriously known as Big Lee. And for those of you wondering who this guy is that has just a random podcast on here that you have may found because one of your friends have shared the link on social media, well, first and foremost, make sure you thank them for me and tell them I appreciate all the love and support on this. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time and finally getting a chance to get around and get to it. Now, to answer exactly who I am, like I said, my name is Big Lee. Your friends have probably met me either at a multitude of places, either from metal, rock, rap show in the St. Louis, Nashville, Memphis area, or quite possibly from either just going to indie wrestling shows or this little company I'm a part of called Cape Championship Wrestling in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is our local independent wrestling company. From there, I don't think anyone else knows me probably from anywhere else besides there, unless you either A, grew up with me, or B, through a mutual friend, which that's kind of what I want to get to with this podcast here. You'll get to hear stories, memories, or possibly memories. I mean, some of the stories can be a little wild and crazy and may have to be altered just slightly so that we can broadcast them without any kind of issues or hopefully no repercussions of telling the story. So, but yeah, like I said, you're going to hear a lot of stories from myself, my friends, people I've met along the way, whether it be from the wrestling, whether it be from concerts, whether it be from college, road trips, horror conventions, horror with an H, not horror with a W. Some people need clarification on that. Some people seem to be a little sad that it is with an H and not with a W, but that's neither here nor there. Also, I'm always open for recommendations of what you would like to hear talk about on the podcast. Feel free to shoot me an email at bigleesworld@gmail.com with any kind of topics, suggestions, anything of that nature. Just feel free to send it over to me and I'll go over it, and if it's something I feel comfortable doing, then we'll definitely get out there and talk about it for you and stuff like that. Like I said, I just appreciate all the love and support for doing this. It's, like I said, something I've wanted to do for a really long time, and finally getting a chance to actually do it. Like I said, I've talked to a few people, whether it be musicians, wrestlers, things of that nature, that's already signed on to be a part of this, which is really big for me because I was kind of afraid that people would look at this as kind of like a joke and not really want to do it. But for those people that have agreed to do it, like I said, I really appreciate it. Like I said, I think some people are going to be really surprised exactly who's willing to come on the podcast, and probably who I actually really know outside of this, I don't know what you call it, maybe a social media gimmick or things of that nature, and actually see who is actually has a real association with me outside of everything, and what I like to also refer to as my inner circle. Just to kind of give you a heads up on that, I'll talk a lot about my inner circle. The inner circle are the people that, not just that I would say are friends in real life or IRL, as people say on the internet machine these days, but it's actually people that I associate on a day-to-day basis or pretty close to it. There are some people that I talk to daily that are just legitimately what I call the ride or dies. Or I'm 32, so as our generation, we tend to use that term quite a bit for those that stay loyal to us. So, and there are some friends that I may go days or weeks without talking to, but at the same time, they're also a ride or die because all I have to do is pick up the phone, or they know they can pick up the phone and call, and whatever needs to be done, we'll get it taken care of. So, like I said, you'll get to talk. Well, you probably won't get to talk. You can get to email them questions, and I'll ask it for them. But you'll get to meet, in an audio sense, I guess you could say, some of these friends, hear some of the stories. You know, one thing that we do definitely plan on doing with this podcast is the stories that we do tell. Like I said in the beginning part of this, they're 100% true. They're 100% really did happen. As crazy as some of them may seem. Well, like I said, the only thing that there may be a slight part altered just for the fact that we can't either A, legally say what the full 100% detail with it is, Or B, there are some tales that we'll get into around circa 2012 to 2017 that legally, due to paperwork signage that we cannot fully disclose or discuss. Man, I struggle to say that word discuss. But anyways, nonetheless, the other thing you'll notice about this podcast, this is not going to be one of them there fancy buy a second house podcasts. Like, this is just, it's a raw, gritty, hardcore podcast, to say the least. For those of you that know me, and for those of you that are going to learn about me through this, you'll learn or do already know that I am big into hardcore, whether it be hardcore music, hardcore wrestling, deathmatch wrestling, death metal, anything loud and angry as far as any form of entertainment value will definitely be up my alley, and more than likely will be discussed in some way, shape, or fashion in some of these episodes coming up on the podcast. So, like I said, this episode is just pretty short, honestly, just because it's just kind of give you an intro for things to come. Like I said, within the next week or so, we'll start recording with guests, telling stories, things of that nature. And like I said, you can feel free to shoot me any questions that you want at bigleesworld@gmail.com. Also, feel free to, like us on Facebook at Big Lee's World on Facebook. Give us a follow on Twitter at BigLee756. Give us a follow on Instagram at BigLee756. Also, check out some of the projects I'm in. Like I said, primarily the biggest one being Cape Championship Wrestling, which we run monthly shows here in Cape Girardeau in Southeast Missouri, which you can stay following us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CC Wrestling 573. Once again, I just want to thank you. This is going to just kind of be a brief tutorial of things that are going to be coming down the road in the future, and just kind of get everything set up, tested, and get a little bit of feedback as far as like what you would like to hear and things of that nature. So like I said, feel free to give us a follow on all the social media platforms. Feel free to shoot us an email at BigLee756. Well, I guess you could shoot a message there. Send the email to bigleesworld@gmail.com. So, alright, thanks once again for checking this out. Please make sure you subscribe, like, share, all the great things that you do with all your other favorite podcasts, so we can really get this off the road and get a pretty cool message, some pretty cool stories out. Just get it to everybody, maybe a few laughs, maybe a tearjerker every now and again, but most of all, good times all around, hopefully. So, once again, thanks for checking this all out. I hope y'all have a killer night, a killer weekend, and enjoy. Thanks.